One of the main problems with being a bladesmith with severe ADHD, I will start insane, complex projects, set it down while it cools, and forget about it for years. Exhibit A. I found this piece in one of my many scrap junk buckets. It looks like I started to forge something out of it, so I was like, you know what, I want to figure out what this is. So I've taken it to the grinder, cleaned off some of the rust and the scale and stuff, and then we're gonna put it in the acid and find out what the hell I was doing. The reveal. Whoa. So this is some kind of crazy mosaic or something I was doing. I have no idea why I went into that bucket. It doesn't have any cracks or nothing, but it's screaming for me to turn it into a broke-back sax. So that's what I'm gonna do. It's already pretty thin in this dimension, so I'll have to be careful, but I think I can actually get 2 knives out of that if I do hidden tangs. All right, cut it off. Let's see what we can do. Starting by forging out the tang. Trying to get as much tang as I can get with as little bit of material as I can possibly use. I'm gonna just barely change my shape this way, try to get a little bit more length out of this blade. Don't want to do it too much because it's already pretty thin. All right, so I'm gonna do something a little bit different that you don't really see too much of on saxes. I like to give my brokeback saxes especially just a slight upsweep at the tip, which just makes it a better slasher. You don't have to be, you know, crazy like you would on a Bowie knife or something like that, but just a little bit. Because then I'll take my grinder and flatten that piece out, making it look more like a sax. I've got this pretty much where I want it now. I'm just gonna go ahead and add my maker's mark. Bada boom. Make sure we get that nice and straightened back out. All right, and now I just heat it back up to knock off some of this forged scale and borax before we get to the next part. Just get it cleaned up a little bit and make sure it's straight. That looks good. Let's do a little preheat treat shaping. I think I actually want to hollow grind this. Just because you just never see little hollow ground saxes like, you know, I'm going to do it. Thug life. All right, I got a fairly decent hollow grind established there. Let's go heat treat this thing. Quenching. Yeah. You have to say yeah when you do it or else you don't get a good knife. It's scientifically proven. I love it when you can see patterns right out of the quench. It is nice and straight. I'm not seeing any cracks, which I was a little bit worried about being so thin and more petite. I don't speak French. Wait, except for tabarnak. My French Canadian friend told me that. Let's file check this thing. Oh yeah. That's hard like woodpecker lips, boys. Oh yeah. Took some of the scale off so we can temper it. Tempering. Got a nice yellow straw color for that temper. So let's go to the grinder and clean up these grinds that are uneven. All right, that's looking a lot better. Let's go do some hand sanding. Oh yeah, also I put a little sharpening tool in there just to make, you know, sharpening easier. So to hand sand a hollow grind, I have found the best way to do that is actually just to use your finger in sandpaper and not a stick. So for this, I'm gonna be starting with 100 and working my way up to about 1,000 since it's Damascus. That looks pretty good to me. Let's go etch it and see how it looks. All right, so here it is etched. And now I have an idea of where this came from. So a couple of years ago, I did a pretty sweet mosaic Damascus, if this thing will focus. And there was a section of it that I just didn't like. So I cut it off and flattened it out. That is where that came from. So I'm just gonna call that Scrapmascus because that's basically what it is. Scrapmascus baby brokeback sax. Anyway, let's make a handle. So for the handle, we'll be using a little piece of antler and this, I don't know what this wood is. It's a hardwood though and it looks pretty, so I don't know. If you guys know what it is, tell me. All right, got it glued up. We gotta be careful grinding this because I kind of got it at a bit of a tilt. I don't want to go too deep. All right, general sax handle shape. But there's a problem. Look, right there. And on this side too. I went a little crazy when I was drilling that out and using the Dremel. There's some light. And I was in a rush and I went off center. But I have a trick for that. We can make fake bone or antler to fill those holes. So we only need two things, baking soda and super glue. This little trick works really well if you ever, if you're using like an antler handle and you put a crack in it or something like that, it forms. So all I've done here is I've taken some antler dust from the grinder and mixed it 50-50 with that baking soda. All right, then we're going to fill our gap or holes or cracks or whatever with our mixture. Ding, 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 ding. Mink, 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 mink. Sound effects help. That's science. It's proven. Really get it into the hole. Now I plan on texturing the front of this with a Dremel, but I still want to fill that hole there. It's gonna look a little white, and that's okay. Just like that. Now we're gonna locate our super glue we just had in our hand. And we're just gonna drip that right on top. And that's gonna create a chemical reaction that will make that hard as freaking diamonds. Like, it is insane how hard that stuff gets. Baking soda super glue. See, it's like a perfect match. Focus, focus. All right, so that's done. It's time to start hand sanding our handle. I know it looks a little spindly, and it is, and there's a reason for that. That reason is I fucked up. So I'm working on several different knives, and this one, the blade's on this side, but it's got that little upsweep. When I picked it up, that's all I saw, and so I started shaping the handle with like the swells down here on this side, which is the reverse side. So I was like, oh crap. So I had to just kind of reshape it. And actually, this is actually a pretty traditional sax handle shape, just a ovoid grip. Kind of reminds me, think of it like a boot knife or something now. That's what it is. It's a brokeback baby sax boot knife. We don't make mistakes, we make alterations. It's not a boot knife, it's still just a baby sax. I think a scout carry sheath. All right, I got it polished up. It's all spiffy. Look at that freaking edge, boy. It'll cut God. Let's try it on some paper first. Whoa. That hollow grind is on point, man. I'm really kind of out of arm hair. I'm running out of leg hair too. Who wears short shorts? We wear short shorts, yes. It'll shave. Now I'm sure some of you are gonna ask, well, where's the pin? Why don't you have a pin? Oh! Not all knives need pins. If you're taking a hollow ground to a 0-point knife like this and like into something, you're wrong. This kind of knife is not designed for something like that. It's just not. This is for like carving stuff or like cutting your steak or stabbing your buddies or shaving your legs. As long as you're using a really, really good high-end epoxy, you got nothing to worry about. And traditionally, a sax like this wouldn't have a pin. So there you go, one Scrapmascus brokeback baby sax hollow grind supreme. Only one thing left to do, put on Allie's leather station. She can make a shoe for that. Catch you on the next tutorial video. Oh!